This is the 3rd of August, 2026, and I am on here because we have like the most vulgar news, if you will. I don't mean like saying news, but information. Um, we're just going to jump into this. They have passed that joining with Israel. So so many people don't even understand or realize. I hate the word understand because as you get deep into uh, knowing how insane the corruption goes, you learn what understand, just that word, means that you're under somebody else. You know, when you say you understand, you're standing under their authority. Okay, I don't know if there's any true, I mean, genuine patriots left out there, that's, I mean, outside of, a few that I'm paying attention to. And one of them, his name is Javon Martinez. But before we get into that, because I'm getting ready for, again, this is for self documentation, the corrupt, they call it government, but it's not a government that's ours. It's an invasion of the demonics. And yes, with the little hats or however you want to put it, I really don't give a shit at this point. Um, I'm getting ready to push the button here on this jade helm, and it's vitally important because we have about, according to Javon, that we have about here. I'll show you this real quick. This is actually Javon here, who took down a flock camera and then went to court, and they couldn't touch him because he actually knew his rights and how to maneuver against all of the corrupt mazes that they've put in place, And if you've ever heard of legalese, legalese is a very demonic, twisted way of like getting whoever that's in court screwed up with words and stuff like that. They have secret words, just like understand. Like whenever somebody says, "Do you understand?" Well, to you, you might be thinking, "Well, they're asking me if I realize what they're saying, or if I can compute in my head the meaning of what they're saying." And but no, understand means you are standing under them. That's why every time in their uh, fucked up court system, they say, "Do you understand?" And you're thinking, well, yeah, they just want to make sure that I'm up to par with what they're saying or whatever. No, no, they want you to verbally say that you understand, and your name. When you go in there and you say, "Are you so and so or whatever?" And then you say, "Well, yes, I am." Okay, then you just took possession of their dead person, and it's more of their corrupt bullshit that they have, where you're jumping into a fictional dead person, and you got to get all into what a person means and everything. But why are we putting up with this bullshit, people? I mean, for real. And I'm telling you right now, you don't even know what's coming right now. I mean, you have no idea, and everybody wants to turn their head like it's going to go away. and it's not going away. And I'm just going to be documented on here of saying, so I don't give a shit if you listen or not. I don't even care. I don't care if there's one damn person, as long as this is documented to my Lord and Savior, Yahusha, and the Holy Spirit. I'm good, you know. And I ask for forgiveness for my language and stuff, but my language comes from the aggravation and the absolute disdain that I have for all of these vulgar demons. And I'm talking about, you know, that comes from the Illuminati. And if anybody hears that word and they automatically get offended or something, that's good. I'm thankful for that, because that means that you're too damn dumb to realize what Illuminati is. All that is it's just saying a very specific uh, form of, well, it's Rothschild, Rockefellers, it's Bill Gates, and the other demonics that I'm sure that I will get to. I don't know how long I'm making this for. I just know that I'm on here for, like I said, if nothing else, self documentation, but also so I can say that I did something. I'm putting it out there, the information and stuff like that. And I'm gonna show you real quick who um, Martinez is right here, Javon. So uh, he tore down a flock camera. He calls it sidestep the system or whatever, but you know, I don't think that he sidestepped anything. I think that he was walking on the right path, and he knew uh, his shit, which they hate, and they are literally have already done away with. And proof positive is now in comes Israel, that has joined with U.S. Incorporated, which is nothing to me. Right now, I want it to be known that I have absolutely nothing at all to do with U.S. Incorporated. In 1871, they switched out the United States of America for U.S. Incorporated. And I don't give a shit if you're going to Google and you're trying to giggle this shit, then you can go giggle this shit all you want to, because it's going to lie to you. Now, who was it created by? It was created by the demonics. The demonics, they have what's called the Talmud. What's the Talmud? It's literally, it don't tell them what to do. It tells how they do. So, for instance, like if somebody goes out and they drive a car and they go from first gear, second gear, third gear, standard, of course, fourth gear, okay, then they write that down. Okay, well, the car went from first gear, second gear, but we're not talking about cars here. We're talking about demons, and I'm telling you, demons. You know, how many times has this been said now? And I'm saying it again. Okay, it's a fact, Jack. We're not wrestling with flesh here. This is principalities. What's principalities? It's demons. It's demons. Spiritual. And one more person tells me it's politics, I'm going to lose my fucking shit. Anyway, here, watch this.
Martinez showed up to court yesterday, but he refused to identify himself during the proceedings. The judge considered that as failing to appear in court, but he claims he exercised his right to remain silent.
No, I can't. You know, you call me, but I am here. I'm right here. I stood up. I walked up there. She wanted my name, but I have a right to not bear testimony against myself. Giving my name consults as testimony. And so I just chose to remain silent.
The judge issued an arrest warrant for failure to appear. After the hearing, Martinez filed affidavits from witnesses saying he did show up for the hearing. Martinez.
Now, the reason why that that I played the whole thing, because they leave you hanging right there if you watch it again, which we'll watch it again here real quick, but because it's not that long, and I don't give a shit if anybody watches it, like I said, because why would I know nobody is going to stand up. You know how I know this? Because I could tell you about, the SS Liberty and it being attacked, or I could tell you about 9/11, how we were attacked again by the demonics, and I could go through this, that, and the other thing. We could talk about COVID-19 and all that shit, but you done nothing. And so I'm not expecting for you to do anything now. So again, self-documentation is what this is. If you watch here, you will notice that they don't say the outcome. It just says that the judge got him for failure to appear. But in fact, he did appear, because see, this is 2 weeks ago. So they didn't follow up with the story or whatever. You would have to go. And interesting or not, or interesting enough, I should say, on the Roku here, when you try to look up something that you can pull right up on your little demon screen here, and you know what? I've thought about throwing these things away so many times, but here's what happens. We throw these away and we don't know where they're at. They say keep your enemies close and your enemies closer. Okay, well, that's what we have. These are the enemies that, unfortunately, that we have to pay attention to. And why not watch them, right? Because that's exactly what they're doing. They spy on us and watching us with these damn flock cameras or anything. Real quick here, let's watch this again. But notice how the of course, this is off of Channel 3 News or whatever it is. I don't know.
Martinez showed up to court yesterday, but he refused to identify himself during the
Fox.
proceedings. The judge considered that as failing to appear in court, but he claims he exercised his right to remain silent.
See, he claims. Well, of course he claims it. You know why he claims it? Is because that's exactly what he has a right to do. He don't have to say shit. We've been stupid so long here, sheeple. I'm telling you right now. I just don't give a shit, because we went so far now to where we have laid down and given, and myself to blame. I mean, I blame myself right along. Probably, well, actually, I blame me first and foremost. But the same way that I'll take the fault for letting it go on and continue is the same way that if we have a victory, if the Lord gives us a victory on this, and with Him is the only way that we'll ever get our country. Period. When you start looking, I once upon a time I said that we want the new America. Well, after digging in and finding out where the name even derives from, America, I don't even want that. Does anybody out here feel like that they genuinely have a country? I mean, do you really, really, really feel like that you have a country? If you do, you are still setting squarely on the demonic inbred pedophile side. I mean, I've literally talked to idiots out and about and tried to warn them about what's happening and stuff, telling them straight up what's going on. And they just dismiss it, And they get mad at me for telling them a fact. A fact such as Donald Trump is a demonic inbred. And you can look that right up, and I've showed it on here. We might go through that here in a little bit. I have no idea. Anyway, watch this again and listen to how it leans to one side, like, they got him for failure to appear, when he was actually there. And what he actually did was he had affidavits of truth, it's called, and they all filled them out saying, hey, he was here, as he was summoned, like demons, because that's literally where it comes from. They summoned him there. That's what demons do. And he did appear. And he was there to resolve or see what their complaint was, because they really have none. So
No, I can't. You called me, but I am here. I'm right here. I stood up. I walked up there. She wanted my name, but I have a right to not bear testimony against myself. Giving my name consults as testimony. And so I just chose to remain silent.
The judge issued an arrest warrant for failure to appear.
The judge issued an arrest warrant for failure to appear.
Here, after the hearing, Martinez filed affidavits from witnesses saying he did show up for the hearing.
There you go. See? Filed affidavits of truth is what he filed.
Martinez showed up to court yesterday, but he refused to identify himself during the proceedings.
He refused to identify himself. Notice how, see, it sometimes it's not what they say, it's the lack thereof, But they know what they're doing. And remember, these are all owned by BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. And the demonics own all of them. The demonics own all of your fake, trashy, corrupt, demonic paper that you may have in your wallet right now. And that's another sickening thing to even think about, is what they've done to our everything, our lives, but more importantly, our children's lives, right?
The judge considered that as failing to appear in court, but he claims he exercised his right to remain silent.
But he claims, oh man, I can't even stand to even listen to him no more. Anyway, what we're going to do here now, this one over here, this is actually him where he, I could play that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to call these invaders again and document that I'm telling them to get the hell out. But before we do that, let me show you just a little bit right here of what's actually going on. It's called Jade Helm. Okay? And see, this is all shit that everybody's going to, they're just going to shrug off. They're going to say, Jade Helm, well, what? It's boring. It sounds crappy. It's nothing, I reckon. Jade Helm, that's not even like English, like that. It doesn't even, sort of like when you say Goyim, or whenever you talk about the Talmud, when you start saying words like that, it doesn't really register, which is exactly what they have been using on you. And all this shit's boring. It's boring as shit, isn't it? I'll tell you what's going to be boring is whenever they have your ass upside down and your skin is removed, and you think that's not going to happen. Well, I'm going to tell you, the conspiracy theorists or whatever, they'll say, it's funny how the conspiracies always wind up being, we always wind up being right, Well, I'm here to tell you, you're not going to be around to say, I told you so. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I hope that I'm not around, because if this is going to be taken over, and if this country, which we already know what the Bible says and stuff, or do we? How much stuff have they taken out of the Bible, right? We find out now there's parts missing, and we find out that they've twisted and turned things and everything. I call Yeshua because I grew up, calling him Jesus. But I want the truth. So as you follow and you really look and find these answers, and you're coming up with the truth, you find out that there was no J's back then whenever, Yeshua was here. So, that come about later on, was switched out for Jesus, for the translation, but it goes way deeper than that. But you can get into that and go research it if you care enough. Which I already know nobody's going to research none of that. Especially, I'm telling you, after all of this. But we're going to watch this here, Jade Helm here. This probably is anyway. Martinez says it's going to take about 4 months now and remember this was done a month ago, and then about 2 weeks ago they shut down this NDAA, the merging these militaries with Israel of all the with all the countries out there. It should have never ever this should never ever take place, that our country. But think about that too, we don't have a country. We Americans, okay. I mean, as close as I can say, I'm an American for now, but we have no America. We have no country, and I would just say that I am a Christian first and foremost, only. That's here in this in particular place on this planet. Anyway, watch this. Well, not the stupid commercial. They have to brainwash you.
Burleson, Edwards, Howard, Hudspeth, Kimmel, Merriam, Menard, Real, Schleicher, and Tom Green counties. In Louisiana, they use Camp Beauregard. In Mississippi, they trained at Camp Shelby, Navy Reserve Naval Research Laboratory at Stennis Space Center.
Sorry about that. It kind of started in the. Here you go.
Was the government preparing for domestic control, or was the Jade Helm 15 training really just that, training? Follow me down the rabbit hole to find out.
Rabbit hole.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Rabbit Hole. I'm your host, Danny, and today we are talking about the Jade Helm 15 training, which if you have not heard of it, I hadn't either, but Richard, Andrew, and Crystal all requested this episode. Thank you for your requests. I learned a lot. But of course, before we get started, I love to thank our sponsors. So thank you, Wise Wolf Gold, for sponsoring my podcast. Guys, if you want gold and silver delivered straight to your front door for as little as $50 a month, go to rabbithole.gold right now. From July 15th to September 15th, 2015, the United States military conducted training across several southwestern states. This was codenamed Jade Helm 15. According to the U.S. Army website, Jade Helm was a multi-state training exercise with members of the U.S. Army Special Operations Command and service members from the military's 4 branches. Because, of course, at the time, the Space Force hadn't been created yet. The Navy SEALs, the Green Berets, the Air Force Special Operations Command, and the Marine Corps Special Operations Command were all involved, along with select units of conventional military forces like the 82nd Airborne. The U.S. SOC announced Jade Helm 15 on March 24th, 2015 as a realistic military training exercise spanning 7 states with approximately 1,200 personnel. It included public and private land, and they had pre-coordinated with the private landowners, the state and local governments, the use of the areas they were going to be using. Local law enforcement and 911 operators were also briefed about the exercise, just in case there was an increase in calls or complaints during the time. The exercise covered 7 states: Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Florida. There are some differing sources as to which states the training was taking place in. Like, some sources included Colorado, Nevada, and California. However, I got my information about location straight off the U.S. Army Special Operations Command Jade Helm 15 fact sheet, so that has to be as accurate as it can be. In each state, they had training at specific locations. In Utah, they used Carbon and Emory counties. In Arizona, they trained at the National Guard training centers and an Army Reserve Center. In New Mexico, they trained in Cannon Air Force Base. The majority of the training happened in Texas at Camps Bullis and Swift, in Bastrop, Burleson, Edwards, Howard, Hudspeth, Kimmel.
Okay, so why were they training here? Because they knew they was going to be here. This is, as you can see, a month ago. See, they already have been here for, many years. This is not just all of a sudden, or they like flew them over here just to do this and stuff like that. I'm sure they did some of them, but there's so many of them slime balls here now. I'm telling you right now, where you at, Patriots? Where you at? All these people that go and on the weekends and they go plink, 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 plink and shoot their little pistoles and run around and boy, oh, I can hit this and I can hit that and look, here's my Mauser sniper this with a 5703 scope and nighttime vision and all this stuff. What the hell for? Because you was playing?
Merriam, Menard, Real, Schleicher, and Tom Green counties. In Louisiana, they use Camp Beauregard. In Mississippi, they trained at Camp Shelby, Navy Reserve Naval Research Laboratory at Stennis Space Center, and Navy CB base at Gulfport, Biloxi. And in Florida, they trained at Eglin Air Force Base. The diverse terrain in these states was chosen because it replicates areas special operations soldiers regularly found themselves in overseas. While multi-state training exercises are not unique to the military, the size and scope of Jade Helm set it apart from similar exercises. They were doing this training to stay ahead of the environmental challenges faced overseas. They say this so much. That is the only reason that they're doing this type of training, is because it mimics the environmental challenges that our special operations may face overseas, which I think makes sense. Like, all of this makes a lot of sense because the Army often does field training, which is a scenario-driven tactical simulation conducted in open spaces.
Yeah, that's what she said back then.
To replicate
but remember,
combat conditions. I mean, I kind of did the same thing when I was in SEER school in the Navy. So this type of training is not new, just the size of Jade Helm was different. But the difference between the training that typically is conducted and the Jade Helm training is that normally the training is done in specific areas that are designated for military training. With Jade Helm, it wasn't just military training areas they were using. They were using public and privately owned land to conduct their training. So the whole thing was just odd. It rubbed people the wrong way. The exercise involved unconventional warfare focused on enhancing team-level elements' abilities to operate well removed from company and battalion-level organization, which, again, they would find themselves in overseas. They utilized various training methodologies, including unconventional warfare tactics, foreign internal defense, and counterinsurgency operations. During the exercise, units trained in infiltration and...
We're getting ready to call these pieces of shit here real shortly. And just so I can tell them to get the hell out of our country. So, I'll be doing that here real shortly. I really needed for anybody to have the opportunity to see this, because the Noahide laws are coming in November. Everybody's turning their backs. Everybody wants to look away. Keep looking away, because I'm going to tell you something, just like Javon there, which here in just a little bit I'll show you. Oddly enough, I can't get him to pull up the video that I want to really, really show you, which I'm going to, because I figured out a way that I'm going to show you the video, and he explains this a lot more clear and stuff like that. He'll connect the dots for you and everything. Everybody looking away, they think they can run away from this. You're wrong.
Exfiltration of personnel and equipment, personnel recovery operations, integration of conventional forces, airborne operations, aerial resupply, long-range movements,
boring shit right here, isn't it?
And control elements. They used blank training ammunition and other training devices, although they didn't say what specific training devices they used, to kind of simulate like real life scenario, but they did not use aircraft or heavy military equipment during this training. And this brings us to the conspiracies. Due to the extensive nature of this exercise and the secrecy surrounding detailed exercise plans, conspiracies started circling pretty quickly. Alex Jones, of course, was one of the largest names voicing concerns about this exercise, but what's interesting about this exercise is that in the moment, none of them came true. But that doesn't mean they didn't learn from the exercise for future plans. When the military starts operating on our own soil, the first thing most people jump to is domestic control and fears of martial law. Martial law is the temporary replacement of civilian government by military rule, typically declared during emergencies like war, insurrection, or natural disasters.
Okay, now, while she's doing whatever she's doing here, and you got to remember, this was a month ago. So 2 weeks ago, they actually had the NDAA vote or whatever, and they shut it down, which that just means merging the militaries, right? That it just means that. Is anybody else blown away like I am that what we believed our country would never do? Well, this should tell you that we do not have a country. We don't have and have not had a damn country. We haven't had it. When's the last time you woke up and said, oh, great, the government did this? Never. Never.
These concerns peaked
I'm
in
gonna-
spring 2015.
I'm going to get the phone and I'm going to call, so we'll pause. But I just want to tell these invaders again and give them the opportunity to leave, you know, because if we have Yeshua on our side, which is the only way we'll ever get a country, you know, I'd like to have a country. I don't want America. When you see where that name comes from and how it was and all that, it's you won't even want nothing to do with it.
Following the announcement of the exercise, with Texas designated as hostile territory on publicly released planning maps. Texas is known for their love of freedom, independence, and having armed citizens, so it makes sense if you're going to enforce martial law and start a takeover of the country, Texas would be a great place to test for potential resistance to federal outreach. Plus, this exercise emphasized unconventional warfare tactics in urban environments. The main fear was that the operation would turn from exercise to operational control, with the public being none the wiser and just kind of going with it, thinking it's just a military exercise.
Yep,
People were envisioning
exactly.
scenario.
See what she's saying there? Yep, people just going to think, oh, it's just another exercise or whatever, and go along with all this here garbage, you know. So anyway, let's see. I'm getting ready now. I'm going to call the invaders. This over here, this woman here was on the Sean Ryan show or whatever. She says some things that's just pretty interesting too. And I'm telling you, it absolutely is incredible, the amount of stupidity that we're dealing with and putting up with. All right, anyway, let me make this phone call here. All right, now listen, anybody out there, 202-224-3121, which is what I'm calling right now. And all you do is you call the number, and that's the Washington switchboard, and then you tell them who it is that you want to talk to.
Copy that exchange. How may I help you?
Yeah, Dave Taylor, Ohio.
Thank you. One moment, please.
Anybody taking bets if they answer or not? I bet.
Connecting your call.
Thank you. It'll shock me if they answer.
Congressman Dave Taylor's office. How can I help you?
Who am I speaking with?
This is Emma. Can I ask who I'm speaking with?
No, you can't. I'm an American, and I'm telling you guys this is a message that's supposed to go, but as you know, it won't go anywhere. But I am documenting this, that I have called, and every one of you are inbred Israeli Illuminati invaders to this country that belongs to we the people, me the people, and this is your opportunity to get the hell out.
Well, I have that message down.
Good, read it back to me.
Everyone working in the office are inbred Illuminati, and this is our chance to get out.
Yeah, well, it's not just that office. It is the see. Do you realize that all of you are invaders? joining the U.S. Incorporated, every one of yous have proven now that you are not of this country. You are not for we the people. You are not going by the Constitution at all. You guys wipe your ass with the Constitution. And this proves beyond the shadow of a doubt that you guys are invaders, because you have no concept of what it is to be an American. And you need to get out. We're telling you to get out. Your flock cameras, your pedophile, inbreeding, and demonic murdering children, and poisoning our skies and our food, and these vaccine poison shots or whatever that you've already murdered I don't know how many innocent people with, calling them vaccines. And you know what? Every time I already knew you guys were invaders right from the very beginning. When I could even understand my first word, I knew you guys were invaders. Because every time you guys do something, you ask any people, and they say, well, no, I didn't want that. But none of us ever wake up and say, oh, the government did something good. You're not our government. You guys, you are an invasive, demonic, infectious species that needs to be terminated. Every one of yous. Donald Trump is a Jew, a self-admitted Jew, and he lives by the Talmud, and as of the rest of you, that says to literally kill me and the rest of anybody who's not a demonic Jew, and to murder the children like you already have been doing. And it's not overseas only, it's here in this place also. And now you're bringing over your family or whatever, which all of you, your demon family has already been here as an infection to we the people for many, many years. 1871, whenever you switched out the United States of America for U.S. Incorporated, nobody wants to believe that, but yet this is a corporation. Because how else can a place go bankrupt if it's not a company? As they say that in 1933, U.S. Incorporated, in fact, went bankrupt, according to them. Well, I'm here to tell you, you can't bankrupt a life. You can only murder or take somebody's life here. But unfortunately for you inbred demons, and your mothers and fathers that had you, and the same with theirs, from the demonic line of Saul, who was it? Huh? Cain. That Cain murdered, that's the bloodline that you all want to stay in and have the same blood that came from that, which is demonic. So no matter what you have to do, that's what you guys are doing. Every one of you, any of you that are sitting there, you answering the phones, anybody that's taken one dime of our money, of our currency, that you're being paid, but it's not really the currency or the paper, is it? It's our blood. That's what you all are after. And that's what you all have had. And that's what you guys are trying to get more of. But you're not getting any more of my blood. If you do, then, you know, it's going to be tit for tat. We have the Second Amendment, which you guys give not a shit about. See, everybody who's wanting to follow that stupid Constitution. Well, that Constitution, you guys wiped your ass with it. Well, guess what? I did too. I'll wipe my ass with that Constitution. You guys don't want to live by laws? I won't live by laws. I'm not living underneath of nobody's authority except for my Lord and Savior, Yahuwah and Yahusha, and the Holy Spirit. That's it. And all of you cannot just say and act like, oh, well, I didn't know or whatever. You all do know. You all have the same ability to get the information as we the people have. So this is your fair warning. I'm telling you, from me the people, by we the people, to get the hell out. There's not none of you that, you have it wrote down to murder us. And we have proof that you have been murdering us. 9/11, SS Liberty, COVID-19. And now you're thinking that you're going to combine your shit with whatever. That's garbage. You're already combined. That's all for the show anyway. This NDAA or whatever you want to call it. You know, it didn't pass 2 weeks ago. So you took it back and you redid it underneath the banking system and just redid it, whatever. And then you shoved it right back up there. And guess what? Now it goes through. Well, I don't give a shit what you think that it went through. None of yous. I am so glad Lindsey Graham is gone. But man, I tell you what, the rest of yous going to go too. You got to go because you're out for me and you're out for the American people. You're out to get us. You have been. You've been successful. And there's plenty of brain dead sheeple out here. But I am on record right here, right now. I'm not going down agreeing to your shit. And these dumbasses don't even understand that they're agreeing to it by simply just sitting on their ass and not saying anything. And they think it's not coming to them. Of course it is. Now, you want to read that back to me?
I would be more than happy to, but I do need your first and last name so I'm able to pass.
Yeah, you know what? You already have it. You got the flock cameras and all that stuff already there. You're not a traitor. You are loyal to your servants, which is the Illuminati. You don't work for me. You absolutely do not work for me. I wouldn't pay you a damn dime for nothing, but you're stealing it and you're taking it from me. And this is no longer about money or currency anyway. This is about you all are murderers. You're murdering children. Everybody knows that Palm Beach Pete is not Palm Beach Pete. There's a lot of dumbasses that may believe that shit, but I'm not one of those dumbasses. And neither is Javon Martinez. He's not neither. Or Naomi Campbell. Or Marks. Naomi Marks. They're not dumbasses. We're not dumbasses. You know who the dumbasses are? The evilness that's sitting there taking money, knowing that there's children that's not only have already died, but they're dying now. A child doesn't know to be evil unless it's taught to be evil, like we can watch all these demonic little shits on TV being programmed against us. You literally have a Talmud that tells us how evil that you are and that you think that I am Goyim. You think that I am, you guys call it chattel, which is human cattle. that you can slaughter, and you have been. You have been. But do you know why Napoleon wouldn't cross over and why he wouldn't invade America? You know why he wouldn't do it? Because he knew he said, hell no, behind every stump there is somebody with a gun. And we do have our Second Amendment. So whether it's on a piece of toilet paper or not, and regardless, you see, it's just like you guys, the Talmud that you live by, that's not what I go by. I go by God's authority and what he says. And he says when there's a demon to cast it out. Well, y'all are demons and I'm casting yins out. You got to go. So bring on your shit, because everybody else, they're calling these they're not data centers, they're processing centers. Why in the hell would the government buy 30,000 guillotines? What's guillotines for? It's for human. Chattel. For what you are calling chattel. 30,000. And where are they now? They was in South Carolina, which happens to be, oddly enough, it's one of the main centers for the Rothschild head centers or whatever around the world. There's three of them, three major ones. One of them is South Carolina. So where did they go? To the processing centers. What's those processing centers for? You know, if you have children, don't even say the word love to anybody, because if you have a child and you use that word love and you are protecting or going along with any of this bullshit, then you're clearly a demonic entity that has to go.
Sir, unfortunately, without your name, I'm not able to pass this along, and I do need to leave this line open for...
Without my name? Well, here, I'll gladly give you my name, okay? Is it going to help? Are you going to promise me that it gets to where it's supposed to go? And how can I verify that it goes...
belong to the congressman.
Well, no. See, that's how dumb you are. My name's James Preston.
I'm going to have to ask you to refrain from being rude to me on the phone.
You know what it is? Here's what you're doing, you asshole. You're wanting an excuse to hang up the phone because you know what you are? You're a demonic invader. Get the hell out of our country. Get the hell out of our country, you invader. Piece of shit. That message will never go no damn where. The messages go nowhere. It doesn't make any difference. You can be nice. You can give them your name. You can do whatever you want to. As you can see, they don't really like that. They want you to stand on that and say, oh, no, I'm not going to give you my name or whatever. That way they can say, oh, wouldn't give me the name, so no, I'm not passing that on. Well, isn't it funny if you go back and you watch in the past, they wanted my freaking address too. But now they don't even ask for the address. It's like anything that they can do to come up with their excuse or whatever on why not to do it, you know, which they're not going to anyway. I mean, think about this. She just shut down the voice of we the people, which they always do anyway. It doesn't make any difference. Call them up, suck their ass. If you're going to tell them, if you tell them, I've got a donation of $250 million, like, hold on a minute here. Let's look that shit up here. Hold on a minute. I'll show you this demon shit too. Donald Trump is offered $250 million from Miriam. I can't think of her last name. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Miriam Adelson. Anelson, it should be, or whatever. Look at there. Look, $250 million. Look here. You don't believe Trump's a Jew? That's why I'm on here. To document all this shit. whoever.
But I think it's okay if we ask Miriam Edelson. You want to come up here? Come up here, Miriam.
Look at that piece of shit. Hey, anybody remember when this turd said, "Oh, where you at, my beautiful Christians"? We'll pull that up too. You know what? Let's turn this into what it is. Old Jew boy here. Let's listen to this shit.
Miriam gave my campaign indirectly 250
Indirectly.
million. She was number one. When somebody can give you 250 million, I think that we should give her the opportunity to say hello. And Miriam, make it quick, because 250 million is not what it used to be. Okay? Hello, darling. Come on.
Oh, look at that. Oh, hello, darling. Come here. Oh, let one turd kiss another turd. Oh, yes, I love kissing turds. Oh, because my name is Trumpy Dumpy. Oh, I love to take a dump and watch it come to life with blonde hair and glasses, wearing a red dress, and then I love to kiss around on it like the turd that it is. Piece of shit. Dog
Incredible
shit.
woman. With a great husband, a man that loved Israel.
A man that loved Israel. You mean like you freaking
Mr.
dog-faced
President,
pedophile.
when you were in the Israeli parliament and you gave a speech and you saw me from far away, you could, and at that time I came with a scooter to the parliament just to hear you. I wanted to hear you alive. And then you said, Miriam Adelson, and I stood for a second, but it was so painful, so I sat. Then you screamed, Miriam, stand up! And I wish you would have known, but
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, yeah. $250 million from that hag bag here. $250 million. And watch how he just absolutely hangs on every dollar. I mean, every word that she's saying there. Yeah, he's not controlled, is he? Anybody ever heard of a lobbyist? Okay. For the longest time, I never could, I never would even like accept that. It's like you literally have bribers bribing somebody who's supposed to have your best interest in mind. Yet we all knew that we had these bribers, lobbyists they're called, and for this piece of shit here to take all advantage of or whatever. So right here you can see it in action. Old Edelson here in the red. See, Miriam there, the demonic, offered, not offered, but gave him $250 million. $250 million. And he says, oh, well, we should give her the opportunity to say hello. Well, I'll guarantee you she's doing way more than saying hello. And as we well know now, because now you're going to have the Israelis up your ass unless they're already here. They are here. You don't want to hear it? Go the hell away. Go the hell away. Bury your head, ostrich, because they're here. They're coming now. They did it.
I stood up and heard all your compliment and thank you very
Piece
much.
of shit. I can't even handle that anymore. But I am going to show you where he says, in fact, that he's a Jew again. Donald Trump says he's a Jew. Now, pay attention here, because everybody somehow or another misses this, and I don't know how in the hell.
6 years ago, I was up here, and I said, this is our first Jewish president. Now
It's
he's the
true.
first Jewish
It's true.
president to
See?
serve two not consecutive presidencies. We thank you for everything.
Some bad things happened on the second one. Namely, the election was rigged.
See, now he wants to change it. He wants to get off that he's a Jew real quick, because he knows there's a lot of people out there that he lied to. So he wants to wrap that up really, really quick, you know. All right, let's just check out something else too. And as you've seen from the phone call, you know, these pieces of shit, they don't care about the truth or your your voice or what you want or anything else. You have never ever woken up and said, boy, I am glad that the government did this. Now I can do this and now I can keep that or whatever, you know. Listen, you don't own your damn property. You don't own it. Okay, you need to switch out the word tax for payment. But I don't even think you got to worry about that now because watch what is happening now. Watch what happens now. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Trump asks Christians to vote for him. Let's see if we can get that to pull up. Let's see here. Trump issues new.
Iran are set to resume today after President Trump called off a massive strike over the weekend.
But the commander-in-chief...
Trump asking Christians for their vote.
The Trey Yates is live in Israel with the latest. Good morning, Trey.
Here you go. Here you go.
Christians, get out and vote. Just this time.
Just this time.
You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian.
There you go. I'm a Christian. Do you hear that? Lying piece of Jew shit right there.
If you get out, you got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again.
I'm not giving it a thumbs up that I like it. I'm giving it a thumbs up so that because the information, somebody say this, which is good, and I'm going to put it underneath my watch later. Government criminals, news, sick, demonic Jews, corruption.
My beautiful Christians, I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian.
I'm a Christian.
You
Anybody think he's a Christian?
In 4 years,
you know what? True story. I just bought something on off of Marketplace there, and I went to pick it up, and the guy there, you know, I forget what it was. Something happened. I said something or whatever. He said, "Oh, I'm a Trump supporter," and I said, "Yeah, that's too bad." And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, you know he's a Jew, right?" And he's like, "Oh no, he's not. I said, "Yeah, he is. Self-admitted." So, even once I give him the information so that he could look, and I tried to pull it up and show him right then and there, but you know what he did? I got the hands like, "Oh no, no, please don't show me the truth. Please don't show me the truth. I can't handle the truth, you dumb mother. I can't handle the truth. Anything but the truth. I love the dark. Give me the dark. I want to stay blind." Like these morons that don't even see what's about ready to take place. When these son of a bitches come, I'm telling you, it's insane. Look, I forgot what they call them. Let's go down here. Where's the library? And you got to see what they're called. Oh, you know what we can do? I know what I'm going to do now. This is a good place where I'm actually going to let Martinez. Yeah, this is a great place for this. Now that we know, but nobody wants to hear this. Everybody wants to turn their head. Go watch somebody shoving peanuts up their butthole or something and getting 1 million views. You know, let's not watch something that's about ready to take place. Everybody claims that they love their children and all that stuff, but yet they won't watch anything like this. You know, check this out.
Ex-police guy in the gray shirt. He records everybody, but you know, at least he agrees that we have the right to stand up for what we believe. Got old Glory up there, rocking the look. Everyone's agreeing. Hey, I need to warn you guys about something. Jade Helm. Please look up Jade Helm. So now that Trump has combined our militaries, in 4 months, we got 4 months now. In 4 months, Israel's military will be
We don't have 4 months.
And a program called Jade Helm will be activated. Jade Helm is where Special Forces shows up in the middle of the night.
Special
they take
Forces.
over a Walmart. So Walmart, they plan it out.
Going to take over Walmart.
But they show up, they empty out a Walmart in 12 hours, and then another 12 hours. Hey! In another 12 hours, they have a military base in the center of your city. And with the flock camera data, with your cell phone data, with the Axion data, with all that data, you cannot hide. They know where you are at all times. And if you are like me, somebody who is speaking up and trying to liberate the people from tyranny, they will come for you first. For all of you who have guns, they will come for you next. For those of you who think you're going to be able to join forces with your brothers and go have a big battle somewhere, that is not going to happen. They are going to show up in the middle of the night and take you and your family by force, and then you will end up in a ICE concentration camp. I am not joking about this, ladies.
Listen to what he's saying.
4 months before Jade Helm happens.
Martinez showed up to court
Please look it
yesterday,
up.
but he refused to
Also, I want to say
identify
thank you
himself
for
during the
everyone in your
proceedings.
contributions. It's been hell on me and my family, as you can imagine, but I want you to know I am also helping other people.
Listen to what he's doing. People's been sending him money where he had to go to court, and he won.
Helping single mothers, who I will not say, but some terrible shit's been happening. And CPS,
Child Protective Services.
is actively trying to take their children down to Mexico, and it's pretty scary stuff, and I've been stopping it. Hello!
So he's been spending his money to help other people instead of helping him and his family, because he understands how important this shit is.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of a company called the United States of America. And
So he's talking to somebody now that's on the street asking him about the flag.
for which that flag stands. So that flag stands for this flag, but because of a guy named Rothschild and Rockefeller, they bought our education system. I'm sure you know about that. They bought the banks, they bought the libraries, they bought everything, they bought the publishers, they bought everything, right?
No.
They simply wrote it out of history.
No, I disagree.
That's okay.
Yeah, I know.
See, listen,
That's what that is.
she disagrees. The idiot disagrees even when you show people.
This is
Well,
it.
I was going to say, back in the 60s and 70s, I don't remember that being at too many of the rallies I was at.
Yeah, that's because nobody knew about it. They have done everything to keep this under wraps because this flag represents peace.
They own
It
all of
represents
it.
the nation.
State
The other flag
Street,
represents
Vanguard,
It represents the country. There's a difference between the country and the
Black
nation.
Rock.
But there are differences. But yeah, no, this is the peace flag. This means I want peace. That's what this flag.
That's what I get home.
It's called the American Civil Liberty Peace Flag.
I'm a part of the
So,
NCIA, but
Javon there,
I haven't seen that there either.
he is actually, and if you look up here, you'll see this is Javon right here. This is him. But the guy absolutely knows his shit. He's been teaching about money and currency and stuff like that, you know. And man, he does a phenomenal job, you know. Oddly enough, get this, whenever you try to look up his channel and you go to like what I'm looking at right here, you can't find it on the Roku. Like no matter what I typed in there, what I did, you can't get him to pull up, you know. But he actually tore down the damn flock cameras. He went and ripped the son of bitches down. Then they summons him to court. He goes to court, and they wanted his name. He wouldn't give his name because you don't have to. That's, you know, testifying against yourself. And he had his friends there, which signed affidavits of truth saying that he did appear, and the judge lied and said that he didn't because he didn't give his name. But you know, that's what you have affidavits of truth for, right? So the judge, quote unquote, as they want to call them and stuff like that, where they have no merit anyway. All of these so-called judges, they don't have, you know, if you ask them, well, where's your certificate that, you know, for being a judge or anything like that? They can't give you shit. They can't give you anything. And nowadays it's like, well, we'll just appoint whoever we want to. Oh, you know, here's something. Anybody aware of Lindsey Graham? Anybody know who Lindsey Graham is? Here, look at this shit. This is crazy. Lindsey Graham's sister votes for him. Let's see if it pulls it up like this. Let's see. Yeah, here you go. Let's see. Yeah. So picks his sister to come in and vote. Look at this shit. It's insane.
In place of this irresistible man, this irreplaceable man,
Irreplaceable.
this extraordinary man.
So here's a Jew sucker.
His term. Lindsay took care of his little sister in years long departed.
Thank goodness. It ain't long enough, man. The rest of them need to be departed too. And as you heard on my phone call, well, maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but I told them to get the hell out of our country. Look, these sacks of shit, I'm telling you, are garbage. So they just appoint whoever they want to the position to vote however they want to. Look what happened with oh shit, what's his name just now? They spent $30-some million to get him off of his seat and stuff, you know. I can't think of his name right now. But this shit right here, look, you got to remember this. Everybody, you fair warning, I'm telling you. I'm going to show you this and keep this in mind. Go look it up. Now, the Jade Helm law or whatever. I'm telling you. So they've already given and joined in the military. So, and remember, this is not we the people that did this shit. We didn't do this. Nobody that I talk to, nobody says, oh yeah, I wanted to join with Israel. Nobody said, oh yeah, I want our military to join with anybody else, right? It's our military. It's made up of our people, right? Or is it? I don't know. I guess nothing is as it seems because we've all been lied to for so long now, right? But you better pay attention, boring or not, I'm telling you. And everybody else is, and you know, go look it up for yourself. Do your own research into this Jade Helm bullshit here because it's insane. Absolutely insane. Like Martinez was telling you, matter of fact, here, let me pull it back up again and listen to what he says. You know, now this guy dives in. I mean, he does his research and shit.
The reason we have the right to stand up for what we believe. You got old Glory up there, rocking the look. Everyone's agreeing. Hey, I need to warn you guys about something. Jade Helm. Please look up Jade Helm. So now that Trump has combined our militaries, in 4 months, we got 4 months now. In 4 months, Israel's military will be here, and a program called Jade Helm will be activated. Jade Helm is where Special Forces shows up in the middle of the night. They take over a Walmart. So Walmart, they plan it out. It's not like it's just random. But they show up, they empty out a Walmart in 12 hours, and then another 12 hours. Hey! In another 12 hours, they have a military base in the center of your city.
Hear that?
With the flock camera data, with your cell phone data, with the Axion data, with all that data, you cannot hide. They know where you are at all times. And if you are like me, somebody who is speaking up and trying to liberate the people from tyranny, they will come for you first. For all of you who have guns, they will come for you next. For those of you who think you're going to be able to join forces with your brothers and go have a big battle somewhere, that is not going to happen.
Yeah, did you hear that? All these people that's thinking, oh, well, I'll just get a few of my buddies and we'll go out. You don't think they're prepared for that? You don't think that they're prepared for that? What do you think they're doing? Why do you think they have the flock cameras there? Why do you think all these drones are for? Do you think the drones are just going to come and just video your ass? No, these drones are not going to video your ass. They don't care about your ass other than to make your ass a blood sacrifice. You're going to, and this is with their own words. Have you read the damn Talmud? Okay, well, you know what? Matter of fact, here's an excellent thing here. Let's do this. Here, give me just a second. Here, pull up. And I show this to people all the time, and they're like, oh, no, well, that's just a picture that you have. I'm like, okay, well, right here, check this out. Look here. Here is their, just part of their damn Talmud right here. Go find it yourself. Pull up your own that's theirs, that's actually, you know, and which this is actually theirs also, okay? But let's pull up the main one. I don't even have to say any other one. But other than this one right here, and if you read this right here with your own eyeballs, it says, Jesus is in hell boiling in hot excrement. Being boiled in hot. Jesus is in hell being boiled in hot excrement. Right there. Read it with your own eyes, people. This is not me. This ain't me. Don't shoot. Don't hate the messenger. Actually, I don't give a shit. You can hate me if you want to. I don't care. Whatever you do, don't hate these demonic pieces of shit like this idiot right here that lied to us. And you know what? Oh, speaking of lies too, here, if we're looking at this right here, okay, that's the only one for me right there I'd ever have to see, telling me that Jesus is in hell in boiling excrement. Yeah, but look, if you go down, it says Jews can use lies to circumvent the non-Jews, so they can lie to you. Over here too, this one right here, you know, this one here shouldn't bother anybody at all right here. It says all non-Jew children are animals. You got any children? If you're not a Jew, they're saying that you have animals. Okay? And it says, look right here. Now, look this up yourself. Matter of fact, here, in case you don't know, because I didn't know, but this Yaba Moth 98A is where you find where it says all non-Jew children are animals. Okay? But if you go down here to their Yonhadrin 57A, when a Jew murders a non-Jew, there will be no death penalty. So if they murder you, they're not getting a death penalty. Everything's good. You're okay. Where's the one at here? Oh yeah, right here. Here's another one. This one here says that they must destroy all the books of the Christians right here. You know what it also says? It says that exterminating you is necessary. Let me see if I can find that one there. But I wanted to see the one about the 3-year-old, less than 3-year-old. A man who engages in intercourse with a girl less than 3 years of age has done nothing. This is theirs. That ain't me. I didn't write this. Go look it up. Less than 3 years old. That's what it says. And again, this is just part of it that, you know, I saved this here to be able to show people, you know, mainly the one where it says Jesus is in hell and boiling excrement, you know. But right here, let's see, it says, what a Jew steals from a non-Jew, he may keep. Okay? So, if you're not a Jew and they steal from you, okay, now I can't imagine any of them that would be stealing from you, right? Nah, bullshit. They've been doing this. So the whole time you get up and you think, well, I'm just going to go about my day. I'm going to pick up the kids. I'm going to take them to school. I'm going to go to work. I'm going to get off. Maybe we'll have dinner, you know, and then we'll go see a movie or something. Well, you're doing exactly what they want you to do because you're making the Illuminati, which again, remember when you hear Illuminati, that's just a group. That's the group of the main pedophiles, the demonics is what I call them. Rothschild, Rockefeller, but it's Trump. And remember, he's just a butt plug puppet is all he is. He ain't shit. As you seen, old Edelson there, Miriam Edelson, $250 million, and he's on, and she gets on stage with the president, remember, of the incorporation, not our country. This is not our America. This isn't ours. And when you see like where America, the name America, where it comes from and stuff, we'll do that sometime, but not right now. I don't remember enough about that. The main focus that I am on is I really want you guys to pay attention to this that's coming right here, the Jade Helm. I'm telling you, y'all got to look into that. It's insane. And I can't believe that we're dealing with this. And everybody's going to just like set back like on COVID and watch what happens. Well, what happened when you set back with COVID? People died. Don't set back. I've had people say, well, what do we do? Here's what we do. We start talking to one another. We start supporting one another now, because as you've seen, Martinez, he says that we have 4 months, and I totally disagree. And I'm gonna pull that back up again. This is, you know what? If you're gonna use the word news, okay, here's the news. This is what you better be paying attention to, boring or not. There's Martinez.
Everyone's agreeing. Hey, I need to warn you guys about something. Jade Helm. Please look up Jade Helm. So now that Trump has combined our militaries,
you hear that? That's the news. That's what you better be talking about, thinking about right now.
And a program called Jade Helm will be activated. Jade Helm is where Special Forces shows up in the middle of the night. They take over a Walmart. So Walmart, they plan it out. It's not like it's just random. But they show up, they empty out a Walmart in 12 hours, and then another 12 hours. Hey! And another 12 hours, they have a military base in the center of your city. And with the flock camera data, with your cell phone data, with the Axion data, with all that data, you cannot hide. They know where you are at all times. And if you are like me, somebody who is speaking up and trying to liberate the people from tyranny, they will come for you first. For all of you who have guns,
you hear that?
They will come for you next. For those of you who think you're going to be able to join forces with your brothers and go have a big battle somewhere, that is not going to happen.
You hear that?
They are going to show up in the middle of the night and take you and your family by force, and then you will end up in a ICE concentration camp. I am not joking about this, ladies and gentlemen. We have 4 months before Jade Helm.
And again, we do not have 4 months. We don't have it. So I'm telling you right now, if y'all can jump on and watch John Vaughn there, it's John Vaughn, the champ is what this says right here. All one word, THE, champ. But if you jump on there and watch him, matter of fact, we'll watch what I can pull up right now. This is actually him when he went to court, which is really awesome what he did and everything. And this is how that he's getting really popular and famous and stuff. Matter of fact, he even made it on to Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson even said, oh, watch out for the guy that's dressed in a flag. He must be a really bad guy, of course, being facetious, But John Vaughn here, this is him when he went to court.
They had nobody. But right before they called him up, they had this tyrant over here come over there. And he sat in the corner with his hand on his gun the whole time.
So what John Vaughn did here, he's talking about this tyrant knucklehead here. Anybody, do we have any Americans, genuine patriots left, because this is a patriot, in its rarest form right here, or whatever. This is John Vaughn, okay? But this here is the tyrant that this guy is talking about that sat in there, whatever. And look how he's dressed. Like, what the hell happened to us? we used to clean up and, expect people to have their, hair combed and maybe wearing a suit or something like that, showing respect, for the people, but no, So John Von's down here. This is after they come out of court or whatever. And the guy talking and some of his other friends, they all signed affidavits of truth. Now, why did they do that? Because the judge that was there that summoned for John Von to be there, then she said, oh, he didn't show up because John Von wouldn't give his name. But they signed affidavits of truth, his friends did, saying, yes, he was here, and the judge didn't do anything. So that's how he walked away scot-free, But I'm telling you, the main thing that you want to be paying attention to is this Jade Helm shit, because this here was a month ago, and the girl that's doing this one right here, she's talking from a month ago, so it didn't even happen. But 2 weeks ago, think about this, everybody. 2 weeks ago, they put this, and they called it NDAA, okay? And they always name it some bullshit that none of us really, it's always boring as hell, isn't it? That nobody wants to pay attention to. And they did a great job because NDAA, right? Matter of fact, let's see if we can pull up, see if it, NDAA. So, but it got shot down. It didn't pass 2 weeks ago. So what they did is let's see, I'm going to have to do it a different way here. Hold on, bear with me here. But they just repackaged it, is all they did. They just sent it back again, sort of like what they do everything else that they shove up our ass, right? It's like, oh, well, let's say we didn't get marijuana through yet, so let's just keep shoving it back until it sticks, right? Let's see if we can get this pull up here. Vitally important, I'm telling you, I know it's boring as shit, right? Absolutely boring. I totally agree with you. I'd rather be picking boogers or my ass or something like that, something way more productive than this bullshit.
Is allowed to do and sets guidelines for what they can buy, sell, or transport. For example, the NDAA authorizes the overall end strength of the U.S. military, or the number of soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines each branch is allowed to have. And it authorizes what those services can spend money on. If the Air Force wants to buy a new aircraft.
Yeah, that's boring. That's super boring there. Here, let's see what this
Well, it looks like Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, might be getting what he wants in merging the Israeli Defense Forces with...
Okay, and again, he did. And think about this. Somebody else that's not elected, which, see, it's insane to even say that elected, because we all know that's bullshit. We know that there's no such thing as elections and stuff, The only time you ever hear boo-hoo about elections is whenever boo-hoo fucking dog turd here boo-hooed, said he lied to us, which, the town tells us plain as day that this dog shit, is allowed to lie to us, right? And he did. Where you at, my beautiful Christians? He said, oh, I'm a Christian, he said, right?
The United States military. Want to know why? Well, it's because of the fact that the House of Representatives has voted to pass the National Defense Authorization Act with Section 219 intact. Now, of course, that's the provision that allows for the merging of certain parts of the Israeli military with the U.S. military. Clearly, Americans are not in favor of it. It is not something that is even being covered deeply by legacy media outlets, likely because they know that it would be very unpopular with the American people. But I don't want people to give up hope, because while this has passed in the House, the National Defense Authorization Act needs to pass in the Senate for it to become law. And there is some good news because of the good work that you all have been doing in pressuring your elected Congress members and pressuring senators. The Senate did strip their version of Section 219. It has a different, provisional title, but they stripped their version of it from the Senate National Defense Authorization Act legislation. So obviously you can't pass a different version in the lower chamber. So
in other words, what Ding Dong Fooey here is frickin' trying to shove up your ass, you know, along with the rest of the spiked garbage, you know, as if our asses, you know, aren't raw enough. She's wanting to shove this up. It's like, oh, that's not as bad as what you might think it is, right? Because, well, they did this, they did that. No, it's worse than what you can imagine that it's going to be. And I'm on here again, like I said, I just am using this for documentation so that I can say, I told you, I said it, I called. If you was here and you seen the phone call, I called the enemy that hung up on me, as they always do, because they're liars. They're liars. They live by the Talmud. If you was here and you seen, now, you know, now earlier on, she says, well, you know, because you guys put the pressure on them. Well, what she's talking about is people like me that called the phone number 202-224-3121, and you tell them, hey, I don't want this, or hey, I don't want that. But here's what I challenge you to do. And you don't even have to do it. You can go back and you can see, that way you don't waste your time doing that, you know. But you can watch a video of me wasting my time so that you don't have to. And trust me, it's a lot more enjoyable watching my ass go through it rather than you to do it. Because if you call them, you're just calling the damn enemy. You're calling the enemy. And you, if you was here and you seen earlier whenever I did call, I told them, and I told the one on the phone, they're the enemy. She's the enemy. Her mom and dad's the enemy. Every damn body that is agreeing or going along with any of this shit right here is, in fact, all Americans, especially Christian Americans, enemies. And I say especially because they already have it in Canada now. Does anybody know anything about Canada, where that you can't even do the Bible now and all that stuff up there? Okay, that's sad plumb through to the bone that any place is like that. But let's talk about the good old U.S. Incorporated, where here is, you don't have USA. It's not United States of America. It's U.S. Incorporated. And I'm telling you, this is what John Vaughn has been saying also right along as soon as I found his channel. That's why I liked him. He understood, the same as a very few of us understand, that this is a corporation. No matter what Google, who is controlled by the same pieces of shit now that's merging the militaries and stuff, is saying. So, anyway. So, but she's trying to lighten this blow. You know, she's trying to make something less out of it, and it's definitely not.
Final version of the National Defense Authorization
I'll let you
Act.
listen to just a little bit.
Over. Netanyahu's getting what he wants.
Netanyahu's getting what he wants.
The U.S. military. That is not true yet. So there is still a fight to be had, and it's really up to the Senate now, which is a little bit devastating because I don't really trust any member of Congress at this point. But the fact that we have seen some success in stripping the, provision from the Senate version does give me a little bit of hope. Now, with all of that in mind, we need to name names. Now, unfortunately, the vast majority of Republicans voted in favor of the NDAA with Section 219 intact. 7 Republicans, though, did defect, and they deserve credit. Now let's go over to the Democratic side, where the vast majority voted no.
At Kathy Shrill, 45, 43, or whatever that number is, let me explain something to you, okay? If you are claiming to be a Christian, there is no way that you can support Donald Jew Trump. Okay, now if you're claiming to be one of them, one of those people that are not the chosen, they're actually the chosen people. I take that back. They're the chosen people that I choose to throw the hell out of the country that I'm in, whatever it turns into. because I'm going to do all that I can to keep it from ever being incorporated again. Okay, this is over the line. They have crossed the line, but to address what you're saying, that you want to stand with Trump, you're hating the truth. Do you not understand that? Because are you telling me, Kathy, are you saying that he's not a Jew? Are you saying that he doesn't live and go by the Talmud? Because you're right. He doesn't go by what the Talmud says. He lives his life as he's being told to live his life. Okay, by what the demonics tell him to do. Because you clearly have not done your research. So right now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to jump off here again. And again, don't shoot the messenger. Now you can try to, but tit for tat, remember that. Okay, now, here's what we'll do. Now watch here. Watch here. Let's go back and we'll go to the library, because we done went over this, but we'll go over it again for you, because I really want you to take the information for yourself. I don't want you to look at somebody else and say, oh, well, hell, I'm for Trump. I'm all about Trump. Okay, well, if you're going to be for Trump, okay, first of all, realize this, okay? Here he is admitting and saying he is a Jew. Right here. Listen, with your own.
6 years ago, I was up here, and I said, this is our first Jewish president. Now he's the first Jewish president to serve two not consecutive presidencies. We thank you for everything.
Some bad things happened on the second one. Namely, the election was rigged.
6 years ago.
Okay, now, did anybody miss that? Did anybody out there, did anybody miss Trump saying it's true? Did anybody miss that? Because we can play it again if we need to, okay? All right, now, where do people come up with that the Jews are the chosen people? Where do they come up with that? Well, let me tell you where they come up with it. I'll tell you a true story, a real quick true story. I really wanted a motorcycle whenever I was back in the day, when I was a little guy. And so my mom says, well, sit down there and let me read you the Bible. Now, so that's as far as I'll go with that part of it. But long story short, she even said the Jews were God's chosen people. So I come up reading the Bible and stuff and thinking that. Now, I never read it for myself, nor did she ever read to me that the Jews were God's chosen people. Okay? And it's not in the Bible. It doesn't say that. It says that his people is Israel. Okay, so we're not talking about a place like where you're standing at. Okay, we're talking about your mind of Israel. Okay, so that is the chosen people. Anyone that believes in Yeshua or Jesus is the chosen people. Okay, and anybody who is supporting Israel, I feel sorry for you. I really do. Because that means that you are taking the Bible and you're throwing it away. Because the Bible, as chiseled up as it is, and I can show you where they have taken so much stuff out of it, it skips verses and everything else. And then whenever they find, the Black Sea Scrolls, and then we have the, what's the Ethiopian Bible now, that you can go back and you find out, they changed that, that's missing. Or whenever it's retranslated, even in the very beginning of it, and I won't try to exact in on what they did, but you can go back and you can see it for yourself. But they actually changed the wording of it, and in the very, very beginning of the Bible. And now everybody's looking around, and it's like, well, wait a minute. I thought this was this way, and it's not. Well, I thought that was that way, and it's not. Why is that? Well, it's because we've been lied to, everybody. We've been lied to. Listen, I know this is such boring shit. I do, and I hate this stuff too, okay? But it's really not politics now. We're being invaded. We have been invaded, okay? But we've been lied to the same way as Turd Trump here lied to us. You know what? Now you just seen him admit with his own mouth that he's a Jew, okay? He said it, not me. Not until he said it anyway. Okay, and then here he is with the chosen people, as Kathy out there wants to say, Anelson there, 250 million, and she also, by the way, promises another 250 million, just that we know of. You know, they're going to report everything, right? But where is it where he says? Let's see. Yeah, here, hold on, wait a minute. Maybe I can. Oh, right here. Here it is. Now, pay attention here, Kathy. Listen to this.
Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian.
Now, do you hear what he just said right there? Let's just play that a little bit again. Now, listen.
Do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. You
know what he meant to say? What he meant to say is he says you won't have to vote anymore. What he really means is you won't get to vote anymore, you know? And even though your vote didn't mean shit, and it doesn't mean shit, you still got the enjoyment of making the very rich pedophiles even richer, because everything that you do that they set up from their little meeting that they had on Jekyll Island. Anybody ever heard of Jekyll Island? Oh, it's this wonderful little place that they got. It's just a little tiny island, and they set up their little hut and everything. And then they all had a little secret meeting. And when I say they, who am I talking about? I'm talking about the demonics. Who are the demonics? Oh, yeah. That wonderful word, Illuminati. Does anybody know what Illuminati means? Anybody? Kathy? Anybody? It means the enlightened ones. Okay? So, anyway. So the Illuminati, whenever you hear that, think about they think of theirself as the enlightened ones, But they had their little meeting on. Let's see if we can find something. Anybody else want to hear this again? I think we heard it enough. But let's one more time.
You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love.
He said I'm a Christian.
You gotta get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again.
Yeah, lying dog shit. Let's see here. Now, let's see. Let's look up Jekyll Island in a nutshell. Because that's what was on the island anyway, a bunch of nuts. Okay, now, let's see here. Creature from the mystery that now. What really happened at Jekyll Island? Oh, 1910. See, now, it was 1910, but in 1913 is when they unleashed their little bank plan on the whole entire world. It wasn't just one. It wasn't just you. Look, you've been, every time that you do anything, you give to them first. If you start a business, you got to get that license, or you got to get that permit or whatever. Guess what you do? You pay that up front. You don't start a business, make some money, and then say, oh, here you go. It worked out for me. I'm making money. No, you pay that shit up front. If you buy a car, pay that tax. Oh, wait a minute. Let's switch out that word tax for payment, because that's in fact what you're doing. 1933, whenever they bankrupted. Now, how the hell do you bankrupt a person? You can't. You can't bankrupt a person. You can't. They bankrupt the corporation. Now, anybody that knows anything about business, more boring shit, I know. But it's true. Do you know why they bankrupt businesses? Not just to make money, but then they can turn around and they can put other things in place and keep the same line of business going. Like, let's say that you're making bicycles or something, and you got a good bicycle and you find out it's making so much money, but then somebody else comes in and they say, hey, you know what? If we take this away, we could make that tire a little thinner and we could save money and blah, blah, blah. But they can actually bankrupt that company, close it down, reopen it in the same exact spot with new rules and whatever they want, and Bob's your uncle, But that's how they did it. That's the same thing as what they did to us. And somebody please explain to me how it's so hard to tell the truth to someone and show them with their own eyes and them still deny it. It's bullshit. Anyway, let's watch this.
America's money was redesigned in secret on an island. In 1910, a handful of bankers and politicians slipped away to Jekyll Island.
A handful of bankers and politicians who just happened to be who? Oh yeah, demonics.
Georgia. Behind closed doors, they drafted the blueprint for the Federal Reserve, a central bank that still controls U.S. money today. To the public, it was sold as stability. In truth, it protected Wall Street after decades of financial panics. The lesson? When the future of money is decided in secret, it's never written for you. In 1910, it was Jekyll Island. Today, it's global summits where financial rules are set behind locked doors. Different era, same secrecy. Save this video and share it with someone who needs to hear this. America's money was...
All right, that was so lame. That was like the worst one I've ever seen done. So, phooey on the financial whatever guy that did that secret meeting in Jekyll. Okay, let's try this one here.
What is Jekyll Island? Jekyll Island is a small island off the coast of Georgia in the United States. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, it became a private winter retreat for some of the richest families in America. The Rockefellers, the Morgans, the Vanderbilts, and others. All part of the exclusive Jekyll Island Club. But it's best known for something much bigger. The 1910 secret meeting. In November of 1910, a secretive meeting took place on Jekyll Island. A small group of powerful bankers and politicians gathered there, away from the public eye. The attendees included Senator Nelson Aldrich, A. Piatt Andrew, the Assistant Secretary of the Treasury, Paul Warburg, a German-American banker from Kuhn, Loeb & Co., Frank Vanderlip from National City Bank, a bank tied to the Rockefellers, and Henry P. Davison and Charles D. Norton, both closely connected to J.P. Morgan. Together, they drafted a plan for what would eventually become the Federal Reserve System, the central banking system of the United States, which was officially established in 1913. The meeting was kept secret because they didn't want the public to know that the nation's banking elite were behind it. At the time, there was a strong wave of populism, and revealing who was involved could have sparked serious backlash. What about the Rothschilds? The Rothschild family, a wealthy European banking dynasty that began in the 18th century, was not present at the Jekyll Island meeting. Still, the Rothschilds have often been linked to conspiracy theories, especially those involving global banking or monetary control. Part of that comes from Paul Warburg. He was at the meeting, and he had married into a German Jewish banking family. He also worked for Kuhn, Loeb & Co., a firm that's sometimes loosely connected to European financial interests, which helped fuel the speculation. The story of Jekyll Island is full of secrecy and powerful players. It makes you wonder, what else was really discussed behind those closed doors?
Okay, so I know that's boring shit, but if you ever get tired of making your payment, I mean taxes, if you ever get tired of your taxes or wonder why it is that if you go get frickin' married that you need a license to do that, it's because of these demonics right here. They have reached in all of your chattel pockets. Chattel, that's what they call us, chattel. Instead of cattle, it's human cattle, chattel. That's what they call us. Or goyim. Anybody heard of goyim? Okay, well, that's what these sick demonics freaking call us or whatever. It's all a bunch of demonic garbage. But from Jekyll Island right there. I know that's boring stuff, everybody, but I'm telling you right now, it's important, because if you wonder, like, where's my money going or whatever, and look, I get it. I grew up thinking the Jews were God's chosen people. I did. But it doesn't say that. And when you actually do your research and then you realize and you find out that we have been brainwashed into that shit, because how can you call somebody a chosen people when they literally have it wrote down, but then furthermore prove what they have wrote down that they have actually done, are doing, and will do in the future, which is murder your ass. That's not me saying that. It's them saying that. And if Trump, if he truly cared about any of us, you know, what was that oath that he was supposed to? Oh, here's a little bit for you. Anybody ever find out that Trump wouldn't even touch the Bible at his inauguration? He wouldn't even do it. He had his hired Jezebel there to hold the Bible while he said whatever he said, you know. Now, for any and all, anybody, self-documentation here, I want to be clear. I supported Trump. If you look at my channel, if you go back, you will see I was there, you know, Trump, I believe is going to do this, or, you know, he said, and why? Because his lies. He lied to us. Same way when he said that he was a Christian, and he's not. He's a demonic, you know? I mean, so what are you supposed to do with that? I was there too, but you know what? Whenever I was showed the truth, I say the truth. You know? And people still don't get this, but look, $250 million bribe from Adelson there and stuff, and now people's wondering, well, why are they merging the militaries? Well, they're one and the same. You see, here is a Jew, and here is a Jew. Okay? So he lives here, unfortunately, where we're at, enjoying some of our prime real estate, which is Florida, you know. And then here's Anelson here, Miriam Anelson right there. But look at it. You don't think that they hang out together and discuss and all that stuff, you know? But now, what are we getting because these two lovebirds here, you know? What are we getting? I don't know why I even put the word love in and pointed, so forgive me for that. But right here, the Jade Helm or whatever, you know, this was a month ago. They had already been doing this, but way before a month ago, we had this infection to our country, long before now. You know, 1933, when they bankrupted us, that's because we was a corporation that could be bankrupted. Once you bankrupt something, then you have all these legal ways of coming in and changing and making new rules and regulations and stuff. And they sure did. And they planned all this stuff out for long term. Do you think that they're just worried about you right here, right now? Absolutely not. If you go back and look, 1871, when they switched out the United States of America for U.S. Incorporated, okay, they knew that, you know, that wasn't going to take, you know, nothing was going to change right then and there. Oh, 1776 too. That's another interesting. Anybody ever heard of Albert Pike? Albert Pike, anybody? Kathy, you know about Albert Pike? Okay, well, Albert Pike was actually in the Confederate Army, you know, of America. But he went on, and he was so just enthralled with Rothschild and all the demonic blood and stuff like that, that he actually started writing books and so on and so forth, right? And but if you get into Albert Pike there, you'll find out that he is a big demonic piece of garbage also. Now, let's see here. I forgot what I was even looking for here. I think I'm going to try to find... Oh, let's see. 'Cause something I was going. Oh yeah, I was talking about Jekyll Island. I actually would like to find
America's
a
money
better
was
one
redesigned in secret
than this
on an
here.
island. In 19
Meeting on Jekyll Island.
way to Jekyll Island,
And
Georgia.
see, I'm doing this like this because I want to show y'all that y'all can do your own research into this, you know. And the Bible says, they that have eyes to see and ears to hear, you know, go look it up for yourself, you know, and look at this stuff, because it's way better when you see it for your own, and you can, you know, have the Lord there and think about it on your own and everything. Because, like I said, if you go back and you look at my channel, you know, in the past, you can see that I wanted Trump to turn out to be what he was lying to us and saying that he was back then, you know. No, that's where I was trying to, let's see. Secret meeting of Jekyll Island. I know it's boring stuff. It's super, but I'm telling you, how do you get somebody to understand the importance of what is just now happening to we the people right here, right now? How do you do that? How do you shake somebody and say, look, you know, like John Vaughn said, you know, they're going to come in, and some of these places that you think might be a data center, they're processing centers. I think they're processing centers. And I'm telling you right now, YouTube's trying to mess with me right now. They're trying to break in on me. They don't want me telling you all this. And that's okay, because like I said, this is more for self-documentation that I said no, because I'll tell you again, in case you didn't hear it before, if you say nothing, if you do nothing, that is you agreeing and giving your consent. Do you understand what I'm saying? You can't just sit there and say nothing. You have to get on the record somehow, some way, that you're not for this. It's just a fact, you know. Do your research. I'm really wanting, there's one, but there's some of these that's like really super long too. I don't want you to see that. But basically, what you have to remember, that Rothschild was involved with this the same way.
About is
the same way as it was Rothschilds that created Israel. You know, they're the ones that created Israel. Now, why did they do that? Well, they had to have some base of their own. They had to have some place where they could legitimately tell you and I that all of this money, think about this, $10.5 million a day going to Israel. And you know what? Nobody will think about $10.5 million. Do you know why? Because what do you think our chances of ever seeing even $250,000 would be, you know, in 1 year? You know, pretty slim, right? Well, see, they know that. So when you hear these, you know, they're talking about trillions of dollars and so on and so forth, you know, it's nothing to them, you know, but that's our money. And the fact that we're so far in debt and everything, it's like, how do you pay it? How do you get out of that? Well, let's see, if you're a business and you go bankrupt and you owe somebody something, well, what do? They come in and they take whatever they can, right? So here we are. Now, that one there's too long. Let me see here. Jekyll Island, the secret birth of the Federal Reserve. And remember, Rothschild.
Tell the J.P. Morgan estate on Jekyll Island off the coast of Georgia. This meeting was so secretive, so concealed from government and public knowledge that the 10 attendees used code names.
You hear that? If it was so great for we, the chattel, I mean, we the people, if it was so wonderful for us, why did they use secret code names and all that stuff? Remember, this is all set up because of Rothschild. So even when you hear somebody say, well, this was a German banker or something like that, remember this, they changed their names so that they would sound more Western or whatever. You know, they didn't want people knowing the names that they had, you know. some of the real demonic piece of crappy names like Rosenberg and stuff like that, you know.
I am clearly the richest man, so I should be the one to run the super-secret central bank.
In 1910, a secret meeting was held at a J.P. Morgan estate on Jekyll Island off the coast of Georgia. This meeting was so secretive.
All right, well, that's a spoof there, somebody.
This is a story that changed American economics forever. And no one...
I can't handle that shit neither. I speak English, so sorry about that one.
Jack?
Let's see here. The secret meeting on Jekyll Island. Oh, they look like they're having fun with it. Let's see what they got to say.
If you love history mysteries and secret meetings, this one's for you. Back in 1910, on a secluded island off the coast of Georgia, a group of the nation's most powerful bankers and politicians met in secret. They were on Jekyll Island. Their mission? To create a plan to stabilize the American banking system. Over the course of 9 days, this elite group drafted a proposal that would become the foundation of the Federal Reserve System. The secrecy was so intense they used only first names to avoid being identified. Why all the hush-hush? They feared public backlash and political interference. The result of their clandestine meeting was the Federal Reserve Act, passed in 1913. It shaped the economic landscape of the United States, centralizing control to prevent the financial panics that plagued the country. Remember, it all started with a secret meeting on Jekyll Island. History is full of hidden stories. Like and subscribe for more unusual history. If you love
all right, so see, they're not telling like a lot of stuff there, you know, but it's unbelievable, really, that grown supposed to be men have a secret meeting, okay, off of coast of Georgia there or whatever, you know, but they have their little secret meeting where they get together. And you know what the plan was? Is to absolutely dominate any money exchanging that takes place. And think about it today. I would say they nailed that, wouldn't you? They absolutely did. Because you can't do shit unless you make them more wealthy. But you know what they did? Now they're so wealthy that they don't even care about your shekels. You know, which is saying something whenever you talk to a demonic, and a demonic don't even want a shekel, you know. What they want is they want you gone. They don't want to provide any service to you, and they want shekels for doing that. Now, here, think about this. Somebody walks up to a sawdust pile, and they don't say, how can we turn this into something useful, like building a barn or something like that? No. What do they want to do with it? They want to feed it to your dumb ass. And guess what our dumb ass has been doing? We've been eating their dumb sawdust that they're putting in the Rice Krispie treats and all the other shit. And glyphosate and all this other stuff. What about these chemtrails or whatever, you know? Did that just magically go away? Y'all doing good? How's your health doing? Got no worries? You know, they really are counting and loving the people that they've managed to keep quiet and keep still, and especially the ones that they still have snowballed into and brainwashed to being on their side. They love you all. But what's going to happen is, and matter of fact, I watched a young lady on there earlier, and she actually does one of her shows where she says that she was a big supporter of Israel. She done nothing except for support them. She supported them all the way along, and then all of a sudden, they just started attacking her for no reason, you know? And I could probably find that, but I'm not going to. I've been on here long enough. I'm going to end this here session here, I believe. But I'm telling you, just do your own research, you know? If you're watching or whatever, one way or the other, regardless, I don't care. I appreciate you being here. If you haven't, subscribe. I don't care if you do or not, because I'm surprised that I even still have this demonic, no good account YouTube channel. I don't want them. You know, and like I said, the only reason why that I keep these stupid flat brainwashing things now, you know, G6 and everything. Donald Trump even said now they can see underneath your skin and everything. Well, what he really means, he's not going to tell you the whole truth, but you see, you don't have to have your camera even on now. They can see you so well with just the waves, and AI and all that stuff is putting your pictures together. Think about it. If you can take a skeleton that's been buried for, you know, hundreds of years, and then you can have somebody put it back together. Well, now they got AI doing that, you know, and so it's nothing for them to know exactly where you're at. But these drones, like I started saying earlier, they're not going to be sending these. So yeah, let me leave you with this here. They're not sending drones to take your picture. They're sending drones to end you. You will be done. So if you go against them in any way, and I'm telling you right now, there'll be plenty of servants for them, because that's what Goyim is. When you look it up, that's what they say that you're fit for. If you're not a demonic Jew, the Noahide laws. I think when I come back on here, I might jump back on in a little bit or something, and we'll get into this as well as the Noahide laws, which is pretty daggone gruesome crap too. But I wanted to find that one video if I can real quick. I'm probably not going to. What was her name? I can't even remember her name now. No, not going to be able to find it. Anyway, she was a longtime supporter of Israel, donated to them, spoke highly of them and everything else, and for no reason whatsoever, they just turned on her or whatever. Anyway, thank you for being here. Look into what's taking place right now with this garbage, and I'm trying to get this burnt into my head, but it was this jade helm. See, like, that's not part of our vocabulary, but it better be. So jade helm, look into that, you know. So anyway, thanks for being here. I think I'm going to end this now if I can figure out. I always struggle with the button here. God bless y'all.